Hey everybody, it's time to go over the homework again. We are converting between fractions, decimals, and percents, right? And remember that anytime we want to make a decimal into a percent, we multiply it by 100 because 100 times larger. Or the easier way was just moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So let's do all the decimal problems first. I'm going to go 2 places to the right, and this is going to become 16%. 2 places to the right, this makes this 72%. I'm going to jump down to number 7 because that's our next decimal problem. 2 places to the right makes that 304%. 2 places to the right makes this 500.9%. And yes, you can have decimals and percentages, right? 2 places to the right makes this 0.04%. And that's all the decimals. So now, remember, all fractions over 100 are the percents, right? The numerator is the percent. So all percents are over 100. So I don't see any percents that are over 100 right now, or any fractions over 100, but I can make them over 100, right? So this is the first one, number 3. I'm going to multiply this by 4 over 4, and that gives me 96 hundredths, which means the numerator is the percentage, right? 96%. Next one, number 5, looks like it's pretty, not too bad, right? I'm going to divide it by 2 over 2 to find an equivalent fraction. And 200 divided by 2 is 100. 111 divided by 2 is 55.5. So the percent is the numerator, right? So 55.5%. This guy, I could divide it by 10 over 10. And remember, when I divide by 10, that's just moving the decimal place in 1. So this is equivalent to 40.3 over 100. And what would the percent be? 40.3%. Next one, over 40. I can actually turn that into 100 by multiplying by 2.5. 2.5 times larger of 40 will give me 100. So if I do on the side 31 times 40, or sorry, 31 times 2.5, remember, I ignore the decimals. We just did this in the last section. I'm going to do it quickly. I get 155,026. I wind up getting 775. But remember, it's 2.5. So since I'm in one place here, I got to go in one place here. So it's 77.5 out of 100. There's the percent, 77.5%. So that one was a little tricky. All right. This guy, not so bad. We know that anything over 99 repeats. So this is 0.5757, and it's going to keep on going, right? But to make that into a percent, multiply it by 100. 2 places to the right makes it 57.57. And the directions say to round to the nearest tenth of a percent where necessary. So right now, this is the percent, and I know it keeps on going. But if I want to round, that's closer to 57.6%. So I'm going to give those little wavy symbols. Remember, that means approximately. It's approximately 57.6%. And now for the two trickiest problems, 40 thirteenths. I'm going to have to actually do the long division, and I'm going to do it over here. All right. Remember, 40 thirteenths. The 40 is jumping into the pool. So it's 13 into 40. And I don't know how long this is going to go, but let's find out. 13 goes into 40 3 times. That gets me 39. With 1 left over, I'm going to add my decimal, my 0, right, and bring it down. Now, how many times can 13 go into 10? It can't, and a lot of kids leave that out. That has to be a 0. Add a 0 again, bring it down, and we say, how many times can 13 go into 100? Well, this is where you have to take a good educated guess, right? 13 times 10 is, I don't know, 130. So it's going to be less than 10, but how many less than 10? Let's just guess 7. 7 times 3 is 21. Carry the 2. 7 times 1 plus 2 is 91. So I say, yeah, it's 7. Good. And I get 91. So that's a 9 left over. Add a 0, bring it down again. 13 and a 90. Well, I knew it went into 91, right? 91 was 7. So let's use one less. Let's use 6. You might be saying, how many times do I have to do this? Not too many more times here, just one more time. And I get 78, okay? So 78, I'm going to subtract, and I get, let's see, 12. I'm going to add that 0, bring it down, and 13 into 120, well, I know 13 times 10 is 130, right? So it's going to be 1 less, which is going to be 9. Now, I don't care about the rest, okay, because I have enough to finish this problem. Because how do I make a decimal into percent? I multiply it by 100, right? So this is going to be 307.7 69. Now is 69 closer to 6.6 or 0.7? It's closer to 0.7, right? So rounded, that's approximately 307.7%. So that's probably the trickiest problem on here. 4 sevenths is going to be easier because 4s and 7s are easier to deal with. So let's do this one. 4 sevenths. Okay, I've got the 4 jumping into the pool, right? So here we go. 4 is the same thing as 4.0. So how many times can 7 go into 40? Okay, it's going to go in 5 times. That gets you 35, right? I get 5 left over. Add a 0, bring it down. How many times can 7 go into 50? 7 times. I get 49, 1 left over. How many times can 7 go into 10 after I bring down the 0? Once. And I only have to go one more time. And I say, how many times can 7 go into 30? That is 8. Or not 8, I'm sorry. 7 goes into 34 times. There we go. So I wind up getting this sloppy mess. I'm sorry. 5714. I really don't care about the rest because the directions say round to the nearest tenth of a percent. So in order to do that, I only need to go out 4 decimal places. Okay, I did it over here too, right? 4 decimal places after the 3. So 1, 2. I multiply by 100. That gets me 100 times larger. 2 places to the right gets me there, which is 57.14, which rounds to 57.1%. Okay, so those two were tricky. You had the long divide, which takes a while. If I had a calculator, man, would that be easy, right? Just divide, move 2 places to the right. Okay, all right, let's go a little faster with these guys. Write each percent as a decimal. Well, this is easy, right? All percents are over 100. We know that. But dividing by 100 is the same thing as moving the decimal 2 places to the left. So all I have to do for all these problems is just move the decimal 2 places to the left. So you can see how I'm doing this. Move 2 places in, 1.45. 2 places in, right? 0.0007. Some kids are going to get that wrong. Fill that empty wave in with a 0, right? This guy I'm going to do a little work for. This is 7.5%. I go 2 places to the right. I fill that in with a 0. I get 0.075. Same thing here. It's 15.25. When I go 2 places to the left, I might have said right here. Okay, go 2 places to the left, I get 0.1525. So that's how you do those. All right, write each percent as a fraction or a mixed number. Remember, all percents are over 100. So this is 60 hundredths. Knock off the zeros, and you get 3/5. Okay, this is 5 hundredths, which simplifies to 1/20th. Divide by 5 over 5, right? 35 hundredths. Well, I divide by 5 over 5 again, and that simplifies to 7/20ths. 32 hundredths. Okay, I'm going to divide by, you know what? 2 over 2 gets me 16/50ths. And if I divide 2 over 2 again, I get 8/25ths. So dividing by 2 when it's a little bit larger and keep doing it will help you go faster than just sitting there and thinking about what is the GCF, right? All right, and we're down to the last two. 140, even though it's over 100, it's still over 100. Does that make sense? Knock off the zeros, divide by 10 over 10, and 14 tenths. 10 goes into 14 one time with 4 tenths left over, which is equivalent to 1 2/5. And the last one, the trickiest one, 0.8. It's still over 100. Now, how do I get rid of the decimal? I'm going to make it 10 times larger, and in order to keep it equivalent, I'm going to multiply the denominator to make it 10 times larger by 10. So, to keep it simple, just move the decimal 1 place to the right on top, 1 place to the right on the bottom, which is equivalent to 8 thousandths. Now, divide that by 2 over 2, 4 over 500. Divide that by 2 over 2 again, 2 over 250. And finally, the last time, divided by 2 over 2 is 1 over 125. All right, little tricky for that one. And the last section, you can't compare apples to oranges, so you can't compare decimals to percents unless you make them the same thing. So let's make this decimal into percent. 70% compared to 7%. Well, 70% is bigger. Okay, I could have made them both decimals too. Remember, this would have been 0.07, and obviously 70 cents is bigger than 7 cents. All right, 4/5. Let's make this a percent. 8 tenths, which is equivalent to 80 hundredths, which is equivalent to 80%. These are equal. And the last one here, 1/3. Well, I know that's equivalent to 3/9, and anything over 9 repeats. So this is going to be 0.3 is all day long. If I made that into percent, that would be 33.3% repeating. So what's bigger, 33.3 repeating percent or 33%? A lot of us are going to say equal, and that is wrong, right? This is bigger by 1/3 of a percent, okay? And the last question, 28. In the United States in 1990, one person in 20 was 75 years or older. So 1 out of 20 people. Write this fraction as a percent. Well, the easiest way to do this is to make it out of 100. Multiply it by 5/5, and you get 5/100ths, which is equivalent to 5%. We're done. Okay, so good job. We're going to keep working on these and getting better, but today you're going to be learning about probability. So good luck today. You're going to find it very interesting. It's very cool. I think you're going to love it. Stay tuned.